Welcome back to the channel, guys. I'm Jesse with Kinetics High Performance, and today I have a thinking cap on because it's time for another episode of Programming in Real Time, where I take your questions and create a workout program in real time. So let's jump right into it. So today we have Mr. Drawn to Your Story. Looks like he's a 43-year-old male. He wants to be able to work out 3 times a week, but he says he can only really commit to 2 times a week. He wants general fitness, and he's a 4 out of 10 on the fitness level. All right, so let's jump right into this. So right away, we know we don't have a ton of time for this gentleman. Day 1, day 2. So right away, I know I'm going to have to do some kind of total body workout and most likely some kind of a superset. I think to keep things simple, we're going to choose to do some kind of an antagonist superset. What that means is basically if I do a chest exercise, immediately I'm going to do a back exercise. If I do a bicep exercise, I'm going to do a tricep exercise. We're also doing general fitness, so I know we're going to go 8 to 10 reps for him and about a 60 to 90 second rest interval. Okay, so that's a good start. All right. So when I do 2-day-a-week programs, I typically want to keep a bilateral day or 2-legged, 2-arm day. And obviously a unilateral day. That would be 1 arm, 1 leg. Okay. As I mentioned, we're going to do a superset. So first and foremost, we'll get this out of the way. We do want to warm up. We're not going to write those things down here, but we are going to warm up. And we are also going to do what I like to do, which is a CNS primer, central nervous system primer. Basically, it tells the brain to get the muscles ready for all the stuff that you're about to do. So we're going to put that second. We can talk about that later on what we want to do there. Okay, so we are going to start with one exercise. Okay, so for general fitness purposes, I want to kind of get his whole body moving. So one good way to start that would be some dumbbell thrusters. Very basic in motion. And then since that is mostly quad centric and anterior chain pushing, I want to go ahead and superset that bad boy with something like an RDL row. So to get a lot of his posterior chain with that movement. Probably stick with dumbbells on that. Day or number 2. So now we got a total body movement. Now we're going to start doing isolation movements. I'm going to 43 years old, probably wants to get jacked. So we're going to stick with the fun stuff. Fun and simple. Incline bench press. Okay, that obviously is for the anterior chain or the chest muscles. Because we're going to be at an incline, this is a great time saver. We could do a chest supported row with dumbbells. That way he can accomplish his incline bench press, turn right around, and start doing his row. Third, we want to get his legs back involved. So it'll be a common theme. We'll do something with the lower half, let that rest, do some kind of a push-pull, and then we'll go back to the lower half again. So for this lower half now, I'm thinking more of a goblet squat. Great quad exercise. Trunk stability out of it too. And obviously we're going to want a antagonist superset. So we're thinking hamstrings, glutes. Not sure if he has access to barbells. So I like hip thrusters. So to make that a little bit more difficult, let's do a feet elevated dumbbell. Now, if he has access to a barbell, I would probably have him do barbell, but not sure if he has that access. So dumbbell hip thrusts. Okay, so number 4, we're going to go back to his upper body. One of my favorite upper body movements actually is going to be a dumbbell pullover. Contrary to what most people think, this is actually a chest exercise. I know a lot of people will feel the lat, they'll think it's a lat exercise, but during this movement, they really lose their leverage and it really becomes a chest dominant exercise. And so, since we're going to be laying down, again, we're trying to be time sensitive here. We'll flip them over onto the bench and get into a prone position so we can do some prone. We'll go prone eyes. We'll use dumbbells with those bad boys. That way we can get the upper back during those motions. And then I definitely want to get into his core. Since it's only 2 days a week, I think we're going to keep it the exact same so we can build up the skill and then add load as we go. For core work, what I like to do is I like to do bottom up, rotation, and then top down. So I'm going to say let's do a lying leg raise. And since he's already on the ground, we're going to turn that right into a wiper, a supine wiper. And then we'll finish that up with some toe touches. And that could be a good start to a day 1. So all bilateral movements. So obviously day 2, we're going to switch into more of a unilateral day. So this one tends to be the harder one for people. One arm, one leg. So again, we're going to start with those warm-ups. We can get into those at another time. Maybe I'll put that into the video a little bit later. I'm just going to stick with these main lifts so far. Okay, so in the vein of doing a total body, kind of the up the kinetic chain work, I'm going to see if Drawn to Your Story can do some unilateral kneeling dumbbell presses. Okay, presses. And then we can superset that with some dumbbell rows, uni dumbbell rows. Okay. Next, we're going to want to do the lower half. Again, we're going to try to do a total body movement, a lower half of the body. So obviously one of my favorite movements ever for unilateral would be the rear foot elevated split squat. Okay. And that is a great one for your quad. If you tilt forward a little bit more when you do these guys, you're going to get a lot more glute activation. But we'll have them stay more upright for that quad activation. And then now we need a posterior, or the antagonist. So what I would like to pair that up with is, let's say, a rear foot elevated RDL with dumbbells. Good. So now we're going to go to upper body. So we did an incline with our bilateral day. Let's do a unilateral. That would be one arm. Uni dumbbell flat bench. Okay. Then we can superset that bad boy with, we'll go, because we're going to be more of the flat bench, how about a 90-degree abducted row? That'd be a nice complement to his traditional flat bench. Okay, so now let's get back to that's an ugly looking 4. Let's get back to number 4. And I want to get more legs. So let's come back to overhead plate step backs. Okay. I'll get a lot of his posterior chain. That will include the thoracic spine, the T-spine, by holding the plate up. We can do some, since we're going to get more of the glutes there, let's work on more of the hip abductors. So let's go to a lateral squat. You get a bigger board, especially for some of those guys that can do more days. And we'll do that lateral squat, and I think we'll use the same plate, and we'll do a plate push at the bottom. Plate push. Okay, and then number 5, as I said, we'll go ahead and double up on this to help build up some of that skill for it. And raise, wipers, toe touches. Okay, and that way we can progressively overload those core movements. Let's go back to that warm up now that we got all this stuff done. Warm up. So generally people will jump on a treadmill and go for a run or do Stairmaster or something like that. Now the best way to warm up will likely be just do the exercise that you're going to do at a decreased weight, increase the range of motion, and just get full reps out of those decreased or unloaded movements. If you insist on doing some kind of a core temperature builder, then dynamic warm-ups are better than just jumping on a treadmill and doing a run. So because we are doing a full body circuit, I want to warm up his joints, right? So that can include arm swings, and leg swings. These will be a fantastic way of warming up his joints for all of the stuff that we are going to do on both days. Now, the CNS primer, it can be something simple. Most of my athletes, I'll have them do some sort of, a lighter loaded Olympic lift. So here, for general fitness, we can probably just do some jumping jacks. That's not how you spell jumping jacks. Jumping jacks. And to be honest, we can probably just do these plus some low jacks. And I wouldn't spend more than 5 minutes on all of these. So I would probably do 2 sets of 10 to 15, both directions. It's the most I've ever had to erase. Same thing here, 2 for 10 to 15 each direction, each leg. And that would be forward and back and side to side. For the arm swings, forward and backwards. Low jacks, we can do these things for time. I wouldn't do anything more than a couple of sets of 30 seconds for the highs, 30 seconds for the lows, 1 set each, times 1. That'd be a nice little warm-up. Okay, so let's review this. We have a quad-centric push, and we have a posterior chain and a pull. Okay, we have a push plus a pull. We have another quad-centric versus a posterior chain. We have a chest-centric versus a posterior chain. And then we have this core. Looks good there for the bilateral day, unilateral day. And we have kneeling presses plus a dumbbell row. So again, we have that pushing aspect. And then for the dumbbell row, we can use the kickstand variation, get a little bit more hamstring involved when we do those. Obviously, the rear foot elevated split squat and the RDL is going to get the quadriceps and the hamstrings. We've got a flat bench and a abducted row, so we're going to keep the same angle of that humerus and do a chest and back exercise there. Then we have more T-spine work plus a leg with the step backs, and then we're going to include some of the abductors or the glutes plus another delt exercise. And then his core work, of course, bottom up rotation and top down. So that looks like a pretty solid workout for Mr. Drawn to Your Story for 2 days a week. As I said, 8 to 10 repetitions a piece. He's going to rest between the supersets, about 60 to 90. We can do about a 60-second rest in between the antagonist exercises. And end up with 3 sets apiece of all these exercises. And he will be solid. All right, Mr. Drawn to Your Story, I hope you enjoy your workout. And I'll put that back on the screen now so you can follow it. That about does it for this episode of Real Time Programming. If you want a chance to have me put together a program for you, comment down below. Otherwise, DM me with your basic information like age, goal, training experience, and time commitment, and your program can be featured on the next episode. Now, it's important to note that the more detailed your information is, the more personalized I can make it. Thank you again for joining me today as I give back to the Kinetics High Performance community who has continued to support me over the past 20 years, allowing me to do what I love to do. Now remember to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss the next episode, and I'll catch you in the next one.